All right, so today we're headed to Old San Juan in Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
It's a place where history and luxury kind of collide in this really unexpected way.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Just imagine like walking down these cobblestone streets, and you've got the scent of like tropical flowers in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And then you stumble upon this building.
Yeah.
It's a 400-year-old building
Wow.
that houses Casa de Montecristo.
Casa de Montecristo.
It's described as part high-end cigar lounge and part award-winning cocktail bar.
That's not a pairing you typically think of, right?
Right.
Meticulously aged cigars.
Yeah.
And then these like innovative cocktails.
Yeah, it really does.
But Casa de Montecristo,
Yeah.
they've created this really unique space where those two worlds just kind of collide beautifully.
Yeah, it's like an experience for all the senses.
Yeah.
When I first heard about Casa de Montecristo, I immediately thought about the cigars. Name Montecristo. It carries so much weight in the cigar world.
Absolutely.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a sense of history there, a sense of tradition, like real dedication to craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Montecristo cigars, they're known for their smoothness.
Yeah.
They have balanced flavors, and they have this consistent quality that people really love.
Yeah.
What's really special about Casa de Montecristo is that they offer not just a wide selection of Montecristo cigars,
Right.
but also they have some rare blends
Oh, wow.
and exclusives that you just wouldn't find anywhere else.
So it's like a cigar enthusiast's paradise,
Oh, yeah.
especially for someone looking for something really unique.
For sure.
But I have to admit,
What's that?
I'm also very intrigued by their cocktail menu.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Award-winning mixologists.
Right.
You don't see that at every cigar lounge.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
They've clearly put a lot of thought into their cocktail program,
Yeah.
as much as they have with their cigar selection.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the menu, you can tell they're not just like serving up your classic cocktails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have these like really creative,
Yeah.
almost theatrical cocktails.
Wow.
They really play with flavor profiles.
Yeah.
And they even incorporate elements of the cigar experience.
Oh, okay. Okay. You've definitely piqued my interest.
Good.
Let's dive into some of these signature cocktails.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm looking at the Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay.
I mean, the name alone just kind of draws you in.
It really does.
But then the ingredient list.
Yeah.
Remy Martin, 1738.
Uh-huh.
Woodford Rye.
Okay.
Cointreau Noir.
Mm-hmm.
Vermouth Rosso.
Yeah.
Jail Bitters.
Jail Bitters.
What?
That one caught my eye, too.
Yeah.
And it's not just like a catchy name.
Right.
It's like they're actually, the Jail Bitters are actually a blend of black, tea-infused Angostura
Wow.
and Peychaud's bitters.
Oh.
It probably adds like a layer of complexity and depth to the drink.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like a nod to the imprisoned protagonist of the original book.
Ooh, so you're thinking those bitters are going to add this like touch of bitterness?
Yeah.
Like a hint of confinement
Yeah.
to kind of mirror the Count's own story?
Right.
That's pretty clever.
It's really clever.
Yeah, to tie it back to the brand's literary roots.
Exactly. It's those little details
Yeah.
that I think really elevate the whole experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really makes you want to explore the rest of the menu.
It does. Yeah.
Like we have the Bohemian,
Okay.
which mentions smoked tobacco
Oh, interesting.
as an element.
Okay.
I'm imagining a drink that almost captures the essence of like the cigar smoking experience.
That's where the expertise of these mixologists really shines.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a gimmick, the smoked tobacco element.
Right.
They use a very specific cold smoking technique
Okay.
with a special blend of tobacco leaves
Wow.
to infuse the cocktail
Yeah.
with this like smoky aroma,
Yeah.
but without overpowering all the other flavors.
Okay.
It's all about creating this balance.
Yeah. So they're bringing the cigar experience into the cocktail itself,
Right.
but in a very refined and balanced way.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you have the classic shave cocktail,
Yeah.
which lists licorice cologne as an ingredient.
Licorice cologne.
Now, I know that might sound unusual,
Yeah, a little bit.
but it just shows their willingness to experiment
yeah.
and challenge the conventions of what a cocktail should be.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid to push the boundaries
Right.
and surprise people with these like unexpected flavor combos.
Okay, that one's definitely going on my must-try list.
Yeah.
You know what strikes me about all of this
What's that?
is the intentionality behind each element.
Right.
It's clear that Casa de Montecristo
Yeah.
isn't just about providing cigars and cocktails.
Yeah.
They're really about crafting this immersive multisensory experience.
It really is. And I think that's what sets them apart.
Yeah.
They've taken these two seemingly different worlds, cigars and cocktails. And they've woven them together seamlessly to create a space that's both luxurious and inviting.
It's funny you mention that.
What's that?
When I think about a 400-year-old building in Old San Juan,
Yeah.
I don't immediately picture a sleek, modern cigar lounge.
Yeah.
I'm picturing something more rustic, maybe even a little bit weathered.
Right.
So how do they reconcile that?
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
They've managed to preserve the building's charm while also incorporating like these modern design elements.
Yeah.
The address itself, 201 Casa de Cristo. It's not just an address.
Right.
It's like a portal to a time capsule where history is literally part of the foundation of their success.
Okay, now I can actually start to picture it.
Yeah.
Like the warm glow of the lounge lights against the aged stone walls. The rich scent of tobacco mingling with the tropical air coming in from the courtyard.
Exactly. And imagine sipping on this meticulously crafted cocktail. While looking out at the bustling streets of Old San Juan and knowing you're surrounded by centuries of history.
It's amazing.
It's that juxtaposition of old and new, tradition and innovation that makes Casa de Montecristo so special.
Yeah, they've created a space where time itself seems to stand still.
I think so.
It's like a sanctuary where you can escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life and just savor the moment.
And that's a real luxury, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, especially in today's world where everything is instant and on demand.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is.
It brings us to an interesting point.
Okay.
Because while Casa de Montecristo embraces tradition, they're also aware of that modern desire for accessibility.
Okay.
Like they're open every day.
Oh.
From noon to 1 a.m.
Okay.
So it caters to a lot of different schedules and preferences.
That's a good point. You could drop in for a pre-dinner drink and a cigar.
Yeah.
Or you could make it a late-night destination. After exploring the vibrant nightlife of Old San Juan.
Exactly.
I know our listeners probably wondering what the cigar selection is actually like.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, we've talked about the exclusivity and the rare blends. Can you give us some more details?
Absolutely. What sets Casa de Montecristo apart from, say, your average cigar shop is the humidor.
Okay.
It's climate controlled. It's walk-in.
Nice.
And it has an astounding variety.
Like what?
We're talking limited editions.
Wow.
Vintage cigars.
Okay.
And even like personalized humidors for members.
Wow. So it's like a playground for the discerning smoker.
Yes, for the person who appreciates those rare finds. And just like the nuances of a well-aged cigar.
It's interesting.
Where was that?
We've been talking a lot about the cigars and the cocktails as separate experiences.
Yeah.
But what about the pairing aspect? Do they offer any guidance on like how to match specific cigars with certain drinks?
Yeah, they do.
Because I imagine those flavors can really enhance each other.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And their staff is incredibly knowledgeable.
Okay.
And they can guide you towards pairings that complement each other perfectly.
Give me an example.
For example, they might suggest a full-bodied Montecristo, Note 2-2, known for its kind of earthy and spicy notes.
Yeah.
Paired with a robust cocktail, like the Count of Montecristo we talked about earlier.
Okay.
The rye and bitters would play really well off the cigar's complexity.
See, that's what I love about this whole concept.
What is it?
It's not just about the individual elements. It's about the synergy between them.
Yeah.
It's about creating this holistic experience.
I agree.
Where the cigar enhances the cocktail.
Yeah.
And the cocktail brings out the nuances of the cigar.
And that's where the art of pairing comes in, right?
Yeah.
It's about understanding those subtle flavor profiles.
Yeah.
And then finding these combinations that create a harmonious balance. It's like composing a symphony of taste and aroma.
I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get a serious case of wanderlust.
You know what you mean.
I can practically feel the warmth of that Old San Juan evening.
Yeah.
Smell the aroma of tobacco.
I know.
Taste the smoky sweetness of that bohemian cocktail.
It's like they've created a world unto itself.
Yeah.
A haven for those who just really appreciate the finer things.
Speaking of which, do you think that sense of exclusivity contributes to the allure of Casa de Montecristo?
I think it definitely plays a role. There's something inherently appealing about experiencing something that's not readily available to everyone.
Right.
It creates a sense of prestige.
Yeah.
Of being part of this like exclusive club.
And there's also a certain allure to the ritual of cigar smoking itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the careful selection, the precise cut, the slow and deliberate lighting, the way the smoke curls and dances in the air.
Absolutely.
It's almost meditative.
I think that ritualistic aspect ties into this desire that we have for a slower pace. A retreat from the constant stimulation of modern life.
It's like stepping back in time to an era where things were savored, not rushed.
Exactly. And that's what I find so compelling about Casa de Montecristo. They've managed to capture that old world charm and blend it so seamlessly with modern sensibilities.
You know, as we're talking,
what are you thinking?
I can't help but wonder if the historical setting itself enhances the experience.
That's a great point.
I mean, we've touched on it. What role do you think the 400-year-old building plays?
I think it's crucial. Just imagine yourself sitting in that lounge, surrounded by those aged stone walls, knowing that countless stories have unfolded within that very space. It adds a layer of depth and richness to the experience.
It's like the building itself is a silent witness.
I like that.
To this unfolding narrative.
That's a great way to put it.
You know? And that sense of history. It creates a connection to something larger than ourselves.
It does.
It's a reminder of the enduring power of tradition and craftsmanship.
Well said.
It's funny.
What is it?
As we've been discussing Casa de Montecristo, I've realized it's more than just a cigar lounge or a cocktail bar.
Well,
It's like a cultural experience.
It is. I completely agree.
Yeah.
It's a place where history and craftsmanship and this passion for the finer things in life all converge. And I think that's what makes it so appealing to such a discerning audience.
Yeah, and it's not just about indulging in those luxuries. It's about the social aspect as well.
Oh, for sure.
And I can just imagine those like plush leather chairs and the intimate ambiance. It just encourages conversation and connection.
Absolutely. It's a place where you can relax and unwind and engage in like meaningful conversations with other like-minded individuals.
Yeah, and who knows, you might even strike up a conversation with a fellow cigar enthusiast and learn something new.
You never know.
That's the beauty of a shared passion. It transcends age, background, even language.
Exactly. And I think that sense of community is something that Casa de Montecristo seems to foster very intentionally.
Speaking of community, I'm curious about the overall vibe.
Okay.
Is it more of a formal, exclusive setting? Or is there a sense of warmth and approachability?
That's a good question.
You know, some cigar lounges can feel a little bit intimidating.
I know what you mean.
Especially for someone who's new to the experience.
Right. From what I've gathered, Casa de Montecristo manages to strike that balance between sophistication and approachability.
Okay.
Yeah, it's undoubtedly a luxurious setting.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere is very welcoming and inviting.
Okay.
It's a place where you can feel comfortable whether you're a seasoned cigar aficionado or you're just starting to explore the world of premium tobacco.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes that sense of exclusivity can be a barrier to entry for people who are curious, but maybe a little intimidated.
For sure.
So if our listener is intrigued by what they've heard today, and they find themselves, you know, wandering the streets of Old San Juan, would you say it's worth stepping into Casa de Montecristo?
Oh, absolutely.
Even just for a peek.
It's an experience that engages all of your senses.
Yeah.
And it offers just a glimpse into this world of refined indulgence.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe you'll discover your new favorite cigar and cocktail pairing.
Yeah, and even if you're not a cigar smoker or a cocktail enthusiast, I think there's something to be said for simply immersing yourself in that atmosphere.
I agree.
The history, the craftsmanship, the attention to detail. It's a testament to a slower, more deliberate way of life.
It really is a reminder that sometimes the greatest luxuries are those that allow us to pause and truly savor the moment.
Beautifully put.
Thank you.
And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into Casa de Montecristo.
But before we wrap up,
I
want to leave you, our listener, with a final thought. Imagine yourself sitting in that lounge. Surrounded by the aroma of fine tobacco. The gentle clinking of glasses as you take a sip of your expertly crafted cocktail and savor the flavors of your chosen cigar. I want you to consider this. How do you think that unique blend of history and luxury at Casa de Montecristo influences the perception of flavor and aroma?
Interesting.
Does the setting itself enhance the experience?
Yeah.
Or is it simply a backdrop to the indulgence?
That's a great question to ponder.
It is.
It really speaks to the power of environment.
Yeah.
In shaping our sensory experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to think about.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so until next time.
Right.
Keep exploring, keep discovering, and keep diving deep.
I like that.
Into the world around you.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.
Sounds good. It's almost like those walls have absorbed all those stories over the years, you know?
Yeah, like they're whispering secrets to you.
Exactly, and it just adds this layer of mystique to the whole thing.
You know what makes me wonder?
What's that?
Who is this place really for?
Okay.
Would you say Casa de Montecristo is only for, like, the seasoned cigar aficionado?
Mm-hmm.
Or could someone who's, like, new to cigars find a place there, too?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's a place that welcomes both, like both the novice and the connoisseur.
Yeah.
They cater to a discerning palate with those rare blends and vintage offerings.
Yeah.
But they also have a curated selection for those just starting their cigar journey.
So it's not intimidating?
No, not at all.
For a newcomer?
The staff are incredibly knowledgeable.
Okay.
And they're very approachable.
Yeah.
They're happy to guide you through the selection.
Take into account your preferences.
Yeah.
And help you find a cigar that really suits your taste.
That's great. So it's like having a personal guide through this world of cigars.
Exactly.
Now, with all this talk of rare blends and vintage cigars, what kind of price point are we looking at here?
Fair.
Yeah. Is this an experience that requires a hefty wallet?
Well, it's important to address that.
Yeah.
Yes, Casa de Montecristo is high-end, and some of their offerings, especially those limited editions or aged cigars, can be pricey.
Okay.
But they also have a range of options at more accessible prices.
Okay, good to know.
So you can find something to enjoy without breaking the bank.
So it's not necessarily an everyday thing, but it's worth it to splurge.
For a special occasion.
Yeah.
Or a night out.
What I find interesting is that the price of a cigar is often tied to its story.
Yeah.
Its rarity, the craftsmanship.
Right.
You're not just paying for the tobacco.
No.
You're paying for a piece of history.
Exactly.
A tradition that's been passed down through generations.
Through generations.
We've talked a lot about cigars.
We have.
But let's go back to the cocktails.
Okay, let's do it.
We touched on a few of their signature drinks. But can you give our listener a sense of the overall style?
Yeah.
The philosophy of their cocktail program?
I would say it's a nice blend of classic and experimental.
Okay, so they have the classics.
They do. You'll find expertly crafted old fashions.
Okay.
Manhattans, Negronis.
Yeah.
But what sets them apart is their willingness to push boundaries.
Oh, okay.
Experiment with flavors and techniques.
Yeah.
Create something new and innovative.
So they're not afraid to get creative.
No, not at all.
Surprise their guests.
Right.
With unexpected combinations.
And that's what makes it so intriguing.
Yeah.
You go in with an adventurous spirit, knowing you're likely to experience something new.
I want to circle back.
To what?
To pairing cigars and cocktails.
Okay. Yeah.
For someone who's not familiar with that world, it might seem a little daunting.
I understand.
Do you have any tips or insights on how to approach pairing?
I think the key is to think about balance.
Okay.
And complementary flavors.
Yeah.
Just as you wouldn't pair a delicate white wine with a hearty steak.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to pair a light floral cocktail with a full-bodied earthy cigar.
So it's about matching the intensity and the complexity of those flavors.
For example, a sweeter cocktail.
Okay.
Like an old-fashioned. Might pair well with a milder cigar. While a smoky, peaty whiskey might go better with a bolder, spicier cigar.
I imagine the staff at Casa de Montecristo would be happy to help.
Absolutely. They can guide you.
Yeah.
Their expertise is really invaluable in creating those perfect pairings that elevates both the cigar and the cocktail experience.
I want to talk about the ambiance of Casa de Montecristo.
Okay.
We've talked about the historical setting, the plush leather chairs.
Yeah.
What about the overall vibe?
It's sophisticated
and
relaxed.
Okay.
Imagine soft lighting, the gentle hum of conversation,
Yeah.
Maybe some live jazz music in the background.
So not a raucous party scene?
No.
More of a retreat?
Yeah.
A sanctuary?
A sanctuary, exactly.
I think that contributes to the allure of the experience.
It's creating a space that feels separate from the everyday.
Yeah.
A place where you can truly relax and indulge.
We often associate luxury with extravagance, over-the-top displays.
Right.
What I'm hearing about Casa de Montecristo is that it's a different kind of luxury.
It is.
More understated, refined.
It's about quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Attention to detail. Creating an experience that's both sophisticated and welcoming.
I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier.
What's that?
The social aspect.
Okay.
You talked about Casa de Montecristo being a place where people connect, engage in meaningful conversations.
I did.
Can you expand on that?
Sure.
What is it about this environment?
Well, I think it goes back to the idea of shared experience.
Okay.
A sense of community.
Yeah.
When you're in a space that's dedicated to appreciation of fine cigars and cocktails, surrounded by people who share that passion.
Right.
It naturally sparks conversation.
It's like finding common ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A starting point for connection.
And I think the ritualistic aspect of cigar smoking contributes to that.
It does.
Like the act of selecting, cutting, lighting, sharing the smoke.
Yeah.
It creates camaraderie, a shared ritual that transcends language and background.
And the intimate setting of Casa de Montecristo enhances that connection even further.
Yeah, it's not a sprawling bar.
Right.
Where you're lost in a crowd.
Exactly.
It's a more intimate space that encourages interaction.
For sure. And the fact that it's in Old San Juan adds another layer.
Yeah.
You're not just in any cigar lounge.
Right.
You're in a place steeped in history, surrounded by the charm and beauty of this centuries-old city.
It's like stepping into a different world.
It is.
A world where time moves a little slower.
Yeah.
And conversations flow a little easier.
That's the true luxury of Casa de Montecristo,
What's that?
I wonder if the appeal of a place like Casa de Montecristo goes beyond just the enjoyment of cigars and cocktails.
Yeah.
Is there something deeper?
I think so.
A desire for connection, for ritual, for a sense of belonging?
I think you're right.
In a world that's so fast-paced and digital, where we're constantly bombarded with information, stimulation, there's a growing desire.
For experiences that ground us.
Yeah.
Connect us to something real and authentic.
I agree.
Casa de Montecristo seems to offer that.
It does.
A retreat from the digital world.
Yeah.
A space to unplug. Engage in meaningful interactions.
Right.
All while indulging in these sensory pleasures that have been enjoyed for centuries.
It's a reminder that some of the greatest pleasures in life are the ones that have stood the test of time. The ones that connect us to our history and to each other.
We've come full circle.
We have.
In our deep dive into Casa de Montecristo.
It's been quite a journey.
We've explored the history, the craftsmanship, the sensory delights.
The social dynamics.
Social dynamics. Yeah. This truly unique establishment.
It is.
But before we wrap up.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
I'm curious to get your final thoughts.
Good.
If you had to, distill the essence of Casa de Montecristo into a single takeaway.
Yeah.
What would it be?
It's funny.
Yeah.
After going through all this, what really stands out to me about Casa de Montecristo is that it's more than just a place.
Okay.
It's really about the experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just about the cigars or the cocktails.
Right.
It's about how they bring it all together.
Yeah.
With the history, the ambiance, the people.
Yeah.
To create something truly special.
It's like stepping into another world.
Exactly.
A time capsule.
Yeah.
Where old world charm meets modern elegance.
I think that's what makes it so appealing.
Yeah.
To a certain type of person. Someone who appreciates the finer things and wants something more.
Yeah.
Than just a drink or a smoke.
It's a reminder that luxury doesn't have to be over the top.
It doesn't.
It can be found in the details.
Yeah, like the pairings.
The conversation.
The quiet moments.
Those quiet moments.
Yeah, just enjoying a good cigar and a well-made cocktail.
So if our listener is intrigued by what they've heard, finds themselves in Old San Juan, what would you say to encourage them?
To go inside.
Yeah, to step into Casa de Montecristo.
I'd say be prepared to be transported.
Ooh, I like that.
You step into a world
where
history is all around you, where the smells of tobacco and those amazing cocktails fill the air.
Yeah.
And where time just seems to slow down.
It's an invitation to indulge your senses.
Absolutely.
To have those deep conversations and find a sense of belonging.
Yeah. You might even find yourself staying longer than you planned.
Yeah, lost in the moment.
Lost in the moment.
I know.
It's a special place.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for our deep dive into Casa de Montecristo.
It does.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From the history to the drinks.
The ambiance.
The whole experience.
Yeah, the whole experience.
It's fascinating.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that sometimes the greatest luxuries are the ones that help us slow down.
I agree.
Disconnect and reconnect.
Reconnect with what matters.
With ourselves, with each other.
That's important.
It is. So to our listeners,
yes.
As you go about your day, think about those simple pleasures.
Yeah.
The moments you can savor.
Absolutely.
The conversations you can have.
Yes.
The things that bring you joy.
Find what makes you feel alive.
And until next time.
Yeah.
Keep exploring.
Keep discovering.
And keep diving deep.
And keep living your best life.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Sounds